All right, today we are diving into a huge, and I mean huge, challenge in the modern world. How we try to put a number on cyber risk, and, more importantly, where we get it fundamentally wrong.
I mean, think about it for a second. How do you actually put a price tag on a total digital meltdown? When a company's most precious data just vanishes or their entire network gets shut down, what is the real cost? It's an incredibly tricky question.
And look, this isn't some far-off theoretical problem. When the person in charge of one of the biggest banks on the planet says this, you know it's serious. We're talking about a threat that the people at the very top see as a real danger to our entire financial system. And if you want to see the scale of what's on the line, just look at this number. The consulting firm McKinsey did the math and figured that something like $21 trillion of economic value could be at risk from cyber threats pretty soon. Well, it's a number so big it's hard to even wrap your head around. So with a threat that big, you'd think you'd see companies reporting massive financial hits from cyber attacks all the time, right? Well, funny thing is, the public records tell a completely different story. It turns out that a tiny fraction, less than 4% of public companies, say that cyber attacks actually have a material impact. So we've got this multi-trillion-dollar problem that, if you just look at the paperwork, basically doesn't exist. What is going on here?
Well, to try and get a handle on this invisible giant, the business world did what it always does. It looked to the world of finance for an answer. The hope was to find a single magic number that could make sense of all of this chaos. But first, it's really important to get why cyber risk is so different. It's not like market risk, where stock goes up or down. This is about the information itself. Can you keep it secret? Can you access it when you need to? Can you even trust that it's real? It's a completely different kind of beast. So, the tool that finance offered up is called Value at Risk, or VAR for short. And you can totally see the appeal. It's designed to answer one simple, beautiful question that every CEO wants to know: what's the most we can possibly lose? Something like, okay, we're 99% sure that we won't lose more than $10 million tomorrow.
And that right there is the siren song of VAR. In a world of messy, unpredictable digital threats, it gives you one clean number. It's a promise that you can tame the chaos. But, and this is a huge but, there's a problem with that promise. It turns out, that very tool that provides so much comfort in finance has a massive, and I mean critical, blind spot when you try to apply it to the world of cyber risk. Okay, this is the core of it right here. See, financial models like VAR are built for a world of normal events, things that fit nicely on a bell curve. It's a world where you can spread your risk around. If one investment tanks, another might do great. But the world of cyber? It doesn't play by those rules. It's a world defined by wild, extreme events, what they call fat tails, and everything is dangerously connected. And you don't have to take my word for it. This quote from an executive at the Bank of England absolutely nails it. In the real world, normal is the fantasy. These extreme events, these tails, they aren't the exception anymore. They're the rule. So why? Why is everything so interconnected in the cyber world? Well, it boils down to one simple and kind of scary concept: monoculture. Just think about it for a second. Most of the world's computers run on just a couple of operating systems. Almost all of our secure internet traffic is protected by the same handful of protocols. So when a bug like Heartbleed was found in one of those key protocols, it wasn't just a problem for one company. Nope, it was a problem for almost everyone, all at once. That's what a correlated loss event is. You can't diversify your way out of a risk that hits everybody simultaneously. So, if VAR is the wrong tool for the job, is there a better way? Is there a way to actually look into the storm instead of just pretending it won't happen? Okay, so let's go back to that 99% confidence thing. Here's the kicker with VAR. It tells you your maximum loss on the 99 days when things are more or less fine. It is completely, totally blind to what happens on that one day, the day the catastrophe actually hits. And this is where a different approach comes in. It's called expected tail loss, or ETL. And instead of ignoring that catastrophic day, ETL focuses on nothing but that day. It asks a much more useful question. When that terrible 1 in 100 event does hit, what's the average damage we should expect? It actually measures the pain inside the storm. So here's the difference in a nutshell. VAR basically draws a line in the sand at 99% and says, don't worry about anything over there. ETL is the model that jumps over that line, takes a good hard look around at that scary 1%, and comes back to tell you what it found. It gives you a real feel for what that 100-year storm might actually look like.
At the end of the day, this isn't just about swapping one bit of math for another. It's a really fundamental shift in how we think. It's about moving away from the false comfort of risk modeling, which kind of assumes we can predict things, and moving towards the much more honest idea of uncertainty management, which admits that, hey, sometimes the worst things are just not predictable.
And that really leaves us with a pretty deep question to think about. In a world that is this interconnected, this unpredictable, are we actually measuring the risks that matter? Or are we just measuring the ones that are easy to plug into our old, comfortable spreadsheets?